All right, hi everybody. My data collection tool that I chose was observation. So, observations are a way of collecting qualitative data, and it involves carefully watching and systematically recording what you see and hear going on in a particular setting. Observations are really useful in the classroom because it can show you what's really going on in your classroom, and you can see with your own eye rather than relying on students' perceptions of what is going on. So they're also really useful in certain situations. This is kind of what makes it unique, um, where you're looking for nonverbal reactions to what you're trying to teach. So if you're looking for something that the students don't necessarily have to respond to, you can look at that through observation. Now, structured observations would probably be the best way to get reliable information. However, they're not possible in a classroom because they require the observer to strictly observe and not participate at all. So if something crazy is going on in your classroom, the observer would just have to observe. So that's not possible in an actual classroom. And in the readings, it said right after that action research is supposed to help and guide your teaching and make it better. And like observing without interacting that's not helping your teaching. So the most common way to do it in the classroom is unstructured and semi-structured, where the teachers are able to do what they're doing in the classroom and kind of be paying attention to everything else, and then have brief but more intense observations of what's going on. So I more picture this as working with small groups where, you're being aware of everything else that's going on in the other groups in the classroom, and then but you're still able to like focus on what that small group is specifically doing. Now, if you are just teaching a lesson and you want to take notes about something, field notes are how they capture the action. So that's specific things that you're writing down in your classroom. Now, in all the readings that I did, it said field notes can be, there's really no easy way to describe what exactly field notes look like because they're different for every single person. And they capture what you are specifically looking for. So one of the examples that they gave in the text was that if you're a English teacher and you want to focus on how different questions affect student engagement or something like that, you would write down the questions you're asking in the student engagement, so that would be specific to that that particular situation. So observations are qualitative, a qualitative research technique, and they allow you to observe activities and people and physical aspects of situations. So I think for this one, the type of questions that this technique answers is really a way for you to reflect on your own teaching and whatever specific questions that you are trying to answer for your research. So there's no like specific thing that it would answer. It would be more what you are looking for in your action research specifically. And it also allows teachers to, where as teachers we teach our lessons and then we reflect and kind of adjust our teachings based on that. But this is a way for teachers to accurately record specific things you're looking for in your teaching so that you can adjust your teaching accordingly. So you can write down specific things that happen, and it can help adjust your teaching in a more specific way. So the strengths are that it allows the teacher or the observer to see, actual student behaviors rather than student perception of their behaviors. So if students were filling out a survey or something like that, it would be up to their interpretation of whatever the questions are. So you're observing it yourself, so you know exactly what's going on. Another great way to use observations is to use like a video recorder or a actual just recorder to show what is happening in your classroom. Now, there are some weaknesses with videotapes and recordings as well, because videotapes are, only really focusing on a specific direction in the classroom and maybe will miss certain things that you wanted to observe. And recorders could get a little cluttered in the other noise of the classroom too. So there's some weaknesses with that. Now, if a teacher is acting different because they have a pen and pencil out, it may change the student's behavior because that's not a normal thing that's going on in the classroom. So you have to make sure that if you are doing this observation technique that you basically kind of work whatever strategy you're using into your daily routine so students get used to it, and that way those normal behaviors would come out. So another weakness of observation is that if you're working with a partner, or even if you're watching like a recording or something, you could be watching the same thing and have two totally different perspectives about what is going on. So you could be focusing on something different and just have a different idea of the outcome. It's very it's up to the viewer, kind of what is going, determining the outcome of the observation. And it also may be difficult if you're doing your field notes, it might be difficult for that teacher to record things that negatively reflect on your teaching. If it's something that your administration might be looking at or something like that, it might be hard to write down something that just reflects back negatively on you. So that I put that down as one of my concerns for this data collection technique, because you might not get the full picture with those field notes, because if the teacher doesn't really want to write down something, you're not going to see the validity of it. And it's just not feasible or possible to write down every single thing that is happening in the classroom. So that's why recorders and video cameras can really help. And again, like I said, they have specific views on things as well. So those were the different concerns about observations. Even though observations are a very good technique, and since it is going to be focusing on your own classroom, it's a good way for you to record data in your classroom and reflect back on what you are doing. If you know exactly what your question is and what you're specifically looking for, you can make sure that that is what you're focusing on in your notes, and even in where you're recording as well. If you know you want to record a specific activity or a specific area of the room, since it's our own classroom, we're able to do that, and we're able to have the observations reflect on what we want them to reflect on. So thank you guys. I hope this helped you have an overview of observations, and I hope everybody has a good day and good week. Bye.